time.
Boom, and we are live. There we go. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 163. Today is Wednesday, May 9th, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay, and we're here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
10-ish.
Which is right now.
Which is now.
Oh, yeah.
As we wait for everybody to unload into the chat box, let's go ahead and give away that free Bitcoin from yesterday.
All right, so our free Bitcoin winner, one of our regulars, Crypto Knight. Thanks for
here we go, Crypto Knight.
Oh yeah, thank you for your comment based on our question about the New York AG. We were saying, will Eric Schneiderman, who couldn't keep his hands to himself or whatever, couldn't regulate himself, once he leaves, when in November, will the next person have the same outlook on crypto, basically looking into exchanges? And I like his comment because basically to get that spot, you got to be a part of the Diddley gang.
Right.
So, yeah, most likely he will uphold that and try and look into crypto. But I like that comment, Crypto Knight, because, yeah, unfortunately, in this industry, you don't really have a choice.
So it's just next man up or next woman up, whoever comes
next. Give
you
you a script. Yeah,
That's how it go.
Every job is a template.
They're going to be like, read this.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say this.
Or don't. And we'll show you this JFK video.
Right, really, yeah, really. For military officers, the running joke used to always be like, you're going to get promoted as long as you don't drive drunk or rape anybody. I mean, it's basic, people. Keep your hands to yourself and catch an Uber. And unfortunately, he couldn't, take care of that second one, I guess.
Yeah,
Not saying he did that, but allegedly he did something good.
He can't. But,
he didn't do something good.
Yeah.
What's going on, Antonio, Gia Rodriguez, Alpha Robbins, The Game I Peep. Thanks for subscribing, Caveat Servizier. I can't say that.
Oh,
Sergeant Crypto is up. John Siebert. I think I said The Game I Peep, but say it twice. GHH, everything. KH was happening. Everybody saying Win Moon. Hopefully another week or so. We shall see. All right, top story of the day. They are back in the news, back at it. Winklevoss twins gains 5th patent for exchange-traded products using crypto. Again, another convoluted word that most people don't know what it means or what it does because that is how you keep people out of the game.
Exactly.
Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss IP has won another patent allowing it to settle exchange-traded products, ETPs, using cryptocurrencies. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office revealed Tuesday, May 8th. The successful patent application, which twins originally filed for in December of last year, outlines systems, methods, and program products for crypto-based asset tradings. But what's more important about these ETPs is that the ETFs actually fall under them as one of the instruments. For those who don't know what ETFs is, that's the electronic traded funds. But what's even more important for that is that opens up the doors for retail investors. Exactly. Retail investors are the mom and pops. Those are the people who literally, those aren't the institutional ones. Those aren't the credit investors. These are the people making maybe $20,000, $30,000 a year, $100,000 a year. They just don't make that either $1 million net worth or $200,000 a year benchmark. And that is very important because once you open up the doors to that, the mass adoption can begin, the floodgates open. But what's even more important, we've said it once, we'll say it again, we've said it many times, for the Winklevoss twins to get this patent and for them to have the ability to begin at least exploring the ETFs, literally whoever gets that first in the United States, they're going to be on their way to becoming the first trillionaires.
Oh, yeah.
The first trillionaires.
They already are.
And again, to make this clear, nothing against the Winklevoss twins. They're just doing good business. But this is literally, again, corruption. You are patenting technology that's already out there. You're patenting processes literally just to keep the little guy out. Because as of right now, quote unquote, you're not allowed to have an ETF. You're not allowed to accept money from retail investors, which is ridiculous because why not?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I accept money from somebody who wants to go in and buy crypto? They don't know what they're doing. They say, hey, can you do it for me? But no, you can't do it unless you get one of these ETPs or ETFs, which as of now or until recently, SEC literally from the horse's mouth and know somebody there, they weren't even looking at the application. They said they received them, they literally throw them in the trash. They weren't even looking at them. The Winklevoss twins have been trying to do this for a while now, for the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and they're finally starting to break through. They're most likely going to be the first company with the ETF when it's all said and done. And again, that's going to open up the way for them to become trillionaires. And again, you know what?
They've been trying for a year.
At least if you guys make it that far, Cameron and Tyler, at least tape the private meeting or the private beating with you and Mark Zuckerberg when you all catch him on a slide.
Oh yeah. I mean, we were talking earlier. I said, I promise you, the Winklevoss twins have a picture of Mark Zuckerberg in that office, and every morning when they walk in, they slap it like the football players when they walk out on the field.
Like it's a good luck. They smack the face of it.
Smack the face of it. Yeah, right. Say throw darts at it, and they're just like, oh yeah, what can we do to stick it to good old Marky Mark?
Right.
And honestly, I think with their ETF, like we said before, they're businessmen. Like if you don't know by now, 2018 is the year of choosing a side. Yep. You either want to be decentralized or not. Not telling you either way is completely wrong.
And we don't fault them either. We don't fault them. Because, I mean, hey,
would you rather be, because I ask some people this all the time, as good as decentralization is, would you rather be a centralized trillionaire or a decentralized millionaire? And a lot of people will take the decentralized millionaire. But there's some people that really want to be the top and run everything.
They like the good old pat on the head. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can be a decentralized millionaire, give it a decade or so. But a centralized trillionaire, I mean, they really will run a lot of the economy. But these patents, like I said, they keep putting out patents that are already in the Bitcoin code. They just apply it to, like we said, the stock market, to banks, to exchanges. So not surprised here. This is their fifth one. I think we're in the 20s and 30s with IBM and MasterCard. So more patents to come, I'm sure. Yeah, and I think it was Sergeant Crypto said they're becoming more and more diddly. They've been diddly. I mean, again, they went to Harvard. You know, that's where Mark Zuckerberg allegedly stole the Facebook from him when it was the Facebook or whatever. You know, he paid them with $63 million. But they're from Harvard. You know, they were on the rowing team or whatever. Come on, they don't get more blue blood than that. Their parents, you know, from what I hear, may have done well or whatever. So they've been blue blood. They've been on that side of the fence. When they started their exchange, they were one of the only, if not the only exchange, maybe Coinbase as well, but definitely one of the only exchanges that adhered to the bit license. They were like, oh, okay, you guys will follow everything you want to do. They're paying regulators in New York. They're paying off Wall Street. Oh yeah, they're already part. They are like, these are the kids of the diddly gang leaders. So it's only natural they come up into this. So yeah, I mean, if they had to build a diddly store, this would be the mascots.
Right. So again, we don't blame them. Great business. The same with even Coinbase. But for them to tout the community so much is one of those things where it's like, hey, come on, like you guys are patenting open source stuff. You guys are patenting and encouraging regulation of stuff that doesn't need to be regulated. But you know what? That's the game, people. That's the game. And unfortunately, the only thing that allows this to continue to go on is the United States military and the police force. Because without those two things, no one would care about any of these regulations at all.
Yeah, these regulations are nothing.
But the threat of being thrown in jail, which we'll talk about in a moment here, is the only thing that keeps people down. I mean, and this is how you literally separate wealth and keep the wealthy wealthy and keep the poor poor. You create these fake patents, you create these fake regulations, and that's what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
So hey, again, congrats to them, I guess. I can't wait for decentralized stuff to even just to really come full force though. Speaking of which, blockchain is world changing, says U.S. Congressman during supply chain hearing. What is going on with the U.S. Congress now? I like how they said blockchain too, not Bitcoin.
Of course, I mean, blockchain, not Bitcoin gang is alive and well. However, the subcommittee in the U.S. Congress is an oversight committee with a long name, which you don't really need to know. However, they discussed using the blockchain for supply chain management because apparently there's billions of dollars worth of counterfeit goods that come in the country and leave the country. Also, there's billions of goods that aren't accounted for at all. So they want to use blockchain in order to track it from the beginning all the way to you, basically, or with food, basically from the farm to the table. And I think this is good because it was a positive sentiment. They want blockchain technology implemented. However, like we said before, they won't say Bitcoin for a reason we all know.
Right.
However, we've also said with blockchain technology, free promotion, and the technology itself, you could use Bitcoin as the gateway to being a programmer in blockchain, being, you know, somebody who's a promoter, maybe work as an advisor to these people. Because I can guarantee you, a lot of these 50, 60-year-old people that had this discussion, they were just sitting and listening to the two people who actually knew what they were talking about. So
right, nobody else
commented. Nobody else was like, so. I mean, their questions were mostly tech questions. It was the same questions they would probably have when the internet came out. Like, so why do we need email? You know what I mean? So there's positive there. Good that they had a positive sentiment, and that they basically, the guys who did know what they talk about, stated there is no way forward without blockchain. It's here now, nothing to do about it. So I think that's a small win for, from the tech side. They basically realize there's nothing we can do. So good looks there.
And like you said, it is good. Like you said, it's quoted as saying, so I think this is the real change technology we are dealing with. That's Republican Congressman Ralph Abraham, who's also the chair of the subcommittee on oversight. But like I said, I mean, even Twitter the other day, Twitter just released a thing where they said literally if you have a Twitter account, you need to change your password. I mean, it was ridiculous. But especially after all the hacks that happened last year and beginning of this year, they're finally starting to realize this thing, not only is it not going away, we can't live without it.
Can't live without it after a while.
We literally need this. A couple of comments real quick. I saw Sergeant someone asked about Bitcoin.
Oh, the Bitcoin scam.
Right, the Bitcoin scam yesterday. What happened with Bitcoin?
All right, well, we discussed Binance saying that ICOs should be listed as well as coins. They've done a good job with that. And Bitcoin, the reason it was a scandal was because apparently they printed 693 million Bitcoins out of thin air. Still have to do more background research to see, but it got listed on Binance because they were saying that these coins were given to maybe Binance CEO or given to different people, and they dumped on the market very hard. I mean, it went down. I think,
and boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah, so I think, in my opinion, it was something that was orchestrated. Not sure if it was Binance CEO, not sure if it was Bitcoin, but when they listed it. It literally just the biggest. He's one of those pump and dumps.
People, this is the Wild West, people. Yeah, but of course, people were looking at, I guess, the last year or so, and they're like, "Hey, if it gets listed, it's going to shoot straight up and all that." For one, people, you got to remember, for those who were into Bitcoin, if you just got into it, even if you've been in it, Bitcoin's actually been around a little bit already. So for them to get listed on Binance, it might be new on that exchange, and of course, through, like I said, the last year or so, everybody's like, "Well, if it goes on the new, if it goes on Binance, it must explode." But you have to remember. People have been in Bitcoin a long time, and they've been waiting to dump some bags.
Especially at those prices, some people were making times 20s, times 30s in one day. And I think, like Jamal was saying, Bitcoin J just paid the listing fee. Yes, on the surface, but we've worked with enough crypto people. We've been behind the scenes. We've been in this industry long enough to know nothing is ever straightforward as just pay the listing fee.
Still the Wild West.
It's still the Wild West, and theoretically, what we mean by it may be a scandal is if you own an exchange and a coin wants to be listed, and they say we'll give you $1 million, and you say to yourself, well, this will look bad because who uses Bitcoin? Who cares? This isn't really a coin anybody's going to use. But
I still want to make my money.
But I still want to make my money. All right, well, we'll give you 10 million Bitcoins, and when it's listed on the exchange, the listing price will be artificially listed, and then whoever buys into that, you dump it onto them. And when a lot of people saw that listing, a lot of people wait for Binance listings to jump in and FOMO into it because you've seen them do 100, 200%. However, this time they basically used your psychology against you and was like, well, let me jump on it, boom.
Ball and chain Jack Black definitely sucks. He said he got hit, or he or she said I got hit for 200,000 Bitcoin. Wow. So, again, definitely sucks, but
one of those things.
It's
we
a
still
lesson.
got more to figure out, but from a trading standpoint, you shouldn't even touch Bitcoin.
Yeah, but it happens.
Yeah.
And as far as the shilling that's going on right now, you know how we feel about that.
Oh yeah.
So we will not mention this shield coin, but it's in the comment section. Anybody want to check it out?
Oh yeah.
Local media. Belarus, I always say that wrong.
Belarus.
There we go. Belarus to introduce education income requirements to invest in ICOs and crypto. Again, people, this story is ridiculous. Granted, it's happening in Belarus, so it's not affecting the whole world. Of course, it's affecting some people in Europe. But as we always say, this is going to set the precedent. A source close to the National Bank of the Republic of Belarus recently revealed that the bank is considering strict requirements for investing in ICOs. Additionally, a similar regulatory framework is planned for crypto exchanges. Local IT media outlet Dev.by reports Tuesday. I hope this is false, but they're basically saying the regulators are proposing limiting ICOs investments to qualified investors in order to minimize the risk of common investors losing their money. They're doing this for you. But basically, their qualified investors must fulfill 2 of 4 criteria. One of which is an individual may become qualified if they have relevant education and work experience. And basically they said that education and work experience has to be in the industry where right now there is a very small amount of people who have that experience. Even the people who are the regulators don't have that experience. So for them to even put that into writing is ridiculous. And then for the other 2 is, the qualified investor part is for your finances. They say you need to have at least $20,000 minimum dollars in annual income or a $50,000 minimum savings. And just to give you a frame of reference of how much that is to their country, their annual household income per capita was $3,478, people. So they want you to have at least $20,000 minimum that you make, or $50,000 minimum in your savings, when on average people only make $3,400 some dollars a year. That's kind of the same thing with the United States, saying
about the same, about the same rate,
about the same ratio,
6 times what most people make. About
the United States is saying, well, you need to have either $1 million net worth, or you need to make $200,000 a year, which is pretty ridiculous, especially for us crypto people. If you're full time in crypto, nobody's in a rush to prove they make $200,000 a year.
And
so
why are you tracking my dollars? Right.
And again, this kind of goes back to just that first story with the Winklevoss twins. Like, they are literally creating rules out of thin air. We mentioned it the other day. If you go to our Instagram, one of the first 2 posts we have is when we did the Civic Key ICO live to show people, how to sign up for ICOs and do all that good stuff and experience it. And that was last year. And literally within a year, people, it wasn't even a year. After we did, I think it was like a few months after. It was a few months after we did that, they came up with these rules out the blue in the United States. And it's just like, we successfully did ICO. We may or may not have made money on it. We showed people how to do it. We actually made Civic Key an altcoin. One of the altcoins we buy. That thing did some good numbers on it as well, a good return. So we've experienced it and proven that, hey, you don't need to have all these requirements that you all say. But literally the United States comes out of the blue and says, well, actually you do.
For your protection.
Or you'll go to jail.
Yeah.
Again, if you didn't have the military or police, no one would care. But since you do, and since we have so many people in the, especially in this country, a part of the dilly gang, and just are ready to follow like blindly about what the government says, we can't invest in ICOs publicly anymore, or privately, because it's illegal. So it's just one of those things where it's ridiculous, and it looks like Belarus is doing it next. And again, this is just the beginning, people. This is just the beginning, and the only way I feel like it's going to stop is if what happens in South Korea happens, where you start getting these signatures, you start getting people fighting back, you start getting the tar and feather.
And like I said, the pushback has to come from a social standpoint when economically it makes sense. Because right now, economically, it doesn't completely make sense for people to leave the cash because you still got to pay bills, still whatever. But socially, if everybody figures it out that okay, they want to keep us poor for a reason, the only way to get rid of these people who have been killing us for my generation before us, the only way to get rid of them, if you're not gonna go do anything violent, is economically. You're gonna have to withdraw from the current economic system, go into crypto, and once we have a lot of that technology in place and it's a lot easier, that's when we said 2018 is the pick a side year, because because literally all these regulations that have just come out in the last couple of months are forcing you to do that. It used to be ambiguous the last 2 or 3 years, like I can have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I mean, even the exchanges, Coinbase, they all had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Sort of, we don't have KYC, but we do. You can take out as much as you want, but you can give us information. It's all kind of gray area. Until now, they're starting to introduce stuff. And Belarus, like we said, the reason we discuss these is because it becomes a pattern. We say one small country, and then next thing you know, some big country.
Maybe we can do it the same way.
Every new law has a case study.
That's true. That's true.
Every single one. So they basically look at what worked, what didn't.
And to put this just literally in black and white terms, so you tell me, like here, I'm just talking here from the United States, and it looks like in Belarus soon, if this story is true. I mean, this is allegedly being reported, but you're telling me I will go to jail or prison, I will be put in the same room as other criminals, as murderers and rapists and pedophiles and all this, because I invested in an ICO. And I was doing it before you made the rules, but since you made the rules, I have to stop doing it. Like, do you understand how crazy this is? And this is.
You don't even want them to ask you what you did. You were sitting in jail like
I was just, I was investing in ICOs last year. Like
I pushed send. I copied and pasted a bunch of words and letters and pushed send.
What's that movie with Morgan Freeman and everything? The classic prison movie. It'd be like that one guy was in there doing
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, Shawshank. I'm in there doing taxes. Actually, I invest in ICOs in prison. Oh well, he came on the yard and he showed everybody how to invest in ICOs. The warden loved him.
Exactly.
But I mean, come on, this is ridiculous, people. And again, the people who are making these rules are people like New York Attorney or ex-New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, who's out here backhanding females in this part-time and then trying to regulate ICOs and this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, going like, Paul Giamatti style.
this is literally, again, this is theft and this corruption at its finest. And I'm actually glad crypto is where it's at now as far as people watching these things and seeing this, because now you can see it like in front of you. This isn't no conspiracy theory or this is a maybe or possible. No, this is what it is, people. It's like we have the proof that this is what was happening, and now they're just changing rules as they go. Without them, again, even this Belarus government even having any experience in crypto, they're telling people, well, you need to have education and experience to do it. Who's going to make the rules on education? It's only 9 years old. We're going to say you need to be in since 2009.
Yeah, it's like those job applications for Bitcoin is like at least 10 years experience.
Right.
How?
Yeah.
How?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so.
Fight the power.
Yeah. Get out of here, Belarus. Should get them.
Yeah, you should have got Dino today for that.
Dino for that.
Facebook forms Exploratory. I can't even say that. Exploratory blockchain team led by Coinbase board member. What's going on with Facebook?
All right. Well, first things first, I do want to point out that Facebook and some of these other big companies have been just throwing blockchain into their headlines.
Yeah, come on. They're not going to put it on their companies. You know
other companies are getting sued by the SEC
or getting arrested and stuff. Right.
And I will say that's
ridiculous.
First. Secondly, they're using blockchain, the buzzword blockchain, simply because, not because they want to introduce their own crypto, not because they want to allow Bitcoin payments, not yet at least. They basically want to cover up or to make amends to the mess that was started with data leakage, where what they've been doing for years is giving your data, turning it over to the government for money. If you don't know, anything that's free, they have to pay for it somehow. Getting paid. Your data is valuable.
And to interject real quick, and the reason why, now people have always known about this data thing. I think by and large, a lot of people knew, a lot of people didn't question it. But the reason why that came to the forefront is what I said is because Mark Zuckerberg said he wanted to run for president.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, you've been selling people data. This is
exactly. Yeah.
Every company does it. If it's a free company, if you're going online, if you're searching for free, if it's an app, they're all doing it. Their CEOs just aren't talking about running for president. That's all that is.
They teach you how to do that when you build software.
That is
like how to get more users, how to build, whatever. So, but with Facebook, they're basically using the blockchain technology to supposedly secure and encrypt peer-to-peer data between you and whoever, so that your information technically won't be leaked to the government or to any other outside agencies.
Oh, so they're gonna look at our data now.
So apparently, I mean, they just put out that very heart-touching commercial. They've been pushing it out everywhere, basically, where it's like, we all needed friends and we found them, and then all of a sudden spam like it just popped up somewhere. You control the software, you allowed it to happen. So basically, they're saying they're on this big mission now to change their outlook, make people like them more. But our generation is kind of done with Facebook. Some of the older people who may be watching, who use it religiously, it's cool because it's a great way to network and everything. But
it's a good way to keep in touch. That's
my generation. My generation is kind of already done with it. It's just
and the next generation on Instagram.
The next generation that hasn't don't even look at Facebook.
Instagram and Snap.
Yeah.
And then it kind of was noteworthy about this article as well is, of course, Facebook is working with, their Facebook Messenger executive went over to Coinbase, so they're working together now. We were talking about it earlier, wouldn't be surprised to see, we were talking about this Coinbase IPO. Facebook might buy them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that wouldn't be far-fetched if Facebook were to buy Coinbase.
And just implement the payment system into it.
I mean, why not? Then you got a payment system, you got a Facebook store already, or just partner with them somehow. So, I mean, they got the same teams. They got the same execs going back and forth at this point, people. Like top-level executives, C-suite folks are going back and forth to both companies, partnering and working together. So, big companies like this don't just do this out the blue. Like it's money behind it.
Some random occurrence, people.
And Facebook, I'll give it to them. They buy some big companies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. Thank you for the tip, Justin. Much appreciated.
Oh yeah.
Yes. There's a tug of war between currency and crypto. That's Michael Jones saying, what is tough? You can't pay mortgages, insurance, food bills. Most investments will not take crypto. We have to close the breach. Exactly. And that's one of the last steps.
And in the U.S., we are behind.
We are
Canada,
way behind.
Have it. In Europe, they have payment processors that you can pay your bills in crypto. Basically, you pay them, and then they pay the bills for you. Sort of like, the old check cashing places used to show up, and you could pay your bill there, and they acted as a payment processor for the actual like Duke Power or whatever company. That's basically what these companies doing. But in the U.S., if they did it, they would have to pay for a KYC license. They have to adhere to AML laws. It's like
they're making it so that they can't take it.
Yeah, unless you're already rich and you start a company like that. But if you're already rich, why do you need to start this company?
But for small business and even rent, people, mortgages is a little bit different because again, that's kind of big business. But let's say rent, it's you can. It's kind of like we've been saying since we started the show. The best way to get people to start accepting crypto is literally going to go talk to them. Go talk to that building manager. Go talk to that store clerk or whatever. You have to go talk to them, show them what crypto is, show them how to use it. And most of them will be willing to accept it, because if you're telling them you have something of value, you can show them how to change it directly to fiat, they'll accept it. But what's even better is there will be a day where they forget to change it to fiat, and they'll look back 2 weeks later and see how much it's grown, and they'll be like, "Wait, I'm giving this back." So,
or even a couple months. Like I know some people, some stores I used to go to, I would mention Bitcoin, you should accept it, and then the price would go up. I think around that time is when it was a big bull run, and they were like, I should have accepted it back in the day. How can I do it now? And that's basically all that happens. It happens in cycles. People kind of forget about Bitcoin like right now, then it explodes, and then it's all over the news, and everybody's back in euphoria. I'm
a Bitcoin expert since 2018.
And if they accept it, then or any kind of crypto, I'm starting to see it more in other countries, then you don't need to exchange it. So when people bring up this whole I can't exchange,
that's right. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who cares? It's just atomic swap it to something else if you need to pay it. So yeah, it's good stuff though.
The first version of Ethereum's Casper upgrade has been published. What is going on with Ethereum and these amazing names they always come up with?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Casper. Basically, Ethereum was proof of work. They are transitioning into a proof of work, proof of stake hybrid, and then later on to complete proof of stake. This update basically it will change the mining reward from 3 Ethereum down to 0.6 Ethereum. Also, it'll change the way that you basically send payments, making it faster and actually being able to tag who you're sending it to, stuff like that. And it helps with audits, things of that nature. And it has been long awaited. However, I will say, buy the rumors, sell the news, because the run up on the rumors of this is big, and then the news comes out that it's out. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's just the first upgrade. They'll upgrade more throughout the year. So good to see from Ethereum. Always working hard, but yeah, we'll see how it works out.
That's that good.
A lot of people updating.
That's a good trading advice. People, go ahead and do your due diligence this weekend. Read about it. If it's something you believe in, you see the long-term strategy on it, like Bitcoin, as they said, buy the rumors, sell the news, because they will have, like I said, they will have those upgrades later. All it takes is for that one big upgrade. We can now do X, Y, and Z, and this is happening.
Scale to whatever proportion.
And
boom.
Yeah, and then people want to buy it. This is a pretty good story. Zcash Foundation to make ASIC resistant immediate technical priority. If you remember, it was about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Bitmain also, Bitmain came out and said they released the ASIC miners for Zcash, which of course they tried to do for Monero. Monero, went straight into doing the same thing. It was an immediate technical priority for them. They switched a lot of the code. They basically forked so that ASIC couldn't do it. The Bitmain ASICs could not mine that. And Zcash is saying the same thing. They're like, hey, we are not cool with these ASIC miners. The CEO did make a point, or not the CEO, but one of the main devs. What was his name on here? I cannot find
Zuko?
him. Yes, I believe so. But
from the Zcash Foundation,
right? But yeah, the Zcash Foundation guy. But he basically said that, hey, this is going to be an ongoing fight, because even if they change it right now, it's not going to work indefinitely. Even if we manage to neuter a wave of equal hash ASICs, this will not be the end of the discussion. Inevitably, some new ASIC will arise, and we may have to go through this process again. Cincinnati wrote. So they're saying that, hey, we know this is going to keep happening. They're going to keep trying it. But I will give them props for being committed to saying we're not going to allow this to just go crazy.
Spiral out of hand, right? Because ASICs are controlled by one company. So Bitmain, if you have that as a part of your hashing algorithm, then you will be using Bitmain. That's basically why people are making it ASIC resistant. There's a lot of ASIC resistant coins coming out, because I think people get the picture is that they took the back doorway. They kind of were like early on, we can't buy it all, so we'll mine it all. So
like you said, the shovels.
We'll just sell you the shovels, and then they're not even selling you all the shovels. They're keeping some of the shovels for themselves, and they're in the background.
Yeah, they're selling you one shovel at a time, and they're keeping an army of millions of them behind the closed doors. So.
Yeah, so I mean, as a business practice, this is very common. However, in a decentralized economy, if the pushback is too strong, what will Bitmain do? If everybody starts making ASIC resistant miners, they're just gonna have a bunch of hardware sitting in a
eventually the hopeful thing is that if this does keep happening, they keep making all these things, and then all of a sudden this flips. Two things happen: either they'll go out of business because it's like, all right, this isn't the business model we can keep up with, or people will just stop buying them because they are pretty expensive, and people are not going to spend $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 on a miner just by the time. Because if you don't know, these miners will take anywhere between 30, 60, 90 days to come in the mail, depending on where you're located. So people aren't going to go ahead and spend, like right now, last week, 2 weeks ago, they said, hey, we have an ASIC miner for Zcash. Okay, I'm going to go buy my one I'm allowed. And as I'm waiting for this month and a half for it to come in.
ASIC resistant.
Yeah, Zcash Foundation comes out. His name was Josh Cincinnati, by the way, the executive director. Comes out and said, yeah, we're going to make an ASIC. People are going to stop buying them.
You played yourself.
You played yourself.
Yeah, that is kind of nifty on their part. Is they make it ASIC or allow it to be mined by ASICs, and then come out and say, oh, it's ASIC resistant. Right. Boom, money gone. So that's one of those things that it's a pushback from the decentralized community. Good to see. Right,
Cincinnati. Last quote I want to put of him. Because he made some great points. He said, eventually we will need one because I'm not sure how sustainable the whack-a-mole strategy would be for community. And he's basically talking about a I can't even say this word, siphon effort, basically to stop the ASIC resistance, because he was like, hey, we can't keep doing this every time. We have to focus on the project itself. And then he also said there also has to be a better way, and it starts with reframing the discussion away from ASIC resistance and towards the perceived goals of ASIC resistance, which are decentralization, less concentrated proof of work, and accessibility to the network. Yeah. So good stuff. He said, but in the meantime, we must act, and act we shall. That's what I'm talking about. This is going to go down in history books, some of these people. I love it. Oh, yeah. They are ready to fight the good fight.
Good to see.
All right. Last but not least, Texas. Back in the news. Texas said we are going to protect our money lending business no matter what, even though in this case is actually a good thing. Texas issues a cease and desist to Bitcoin investment company, promised 100% profit in 21 days.
Yeah, right.
Now, granted, if they promised that 100% a week ago, never know. But seriously, we had to highlight this story because we did say after the whole BitConnect thing, we realized people really were falling for the old banana in the tailpipe. So we want to make sure people are aware. But again, if people are guaranteeing you any return in anything, not just crypto, it is most likely a scam.
Oh yeah.
To promise a 100% return in anything or 100% profit in anything in 21 days, it's most likely a scam. It's like that's like red flag for scams, because you're basically saying you can account for every variable out there, no matter what the industry is. And again, like, come on, man. Yeah.
Texas is wilding. You're right, KH, because Texas, as far as the scamming goes, how many cease and desist orders have they sent out?
This had to be at least like number 12.
Yeah, this is
minimum.
They getting up there, because the ones we talked about, it's been like 3 or 4. But as far as how many they've sent out, it's been a lot. They've been sent. Apparently in Texas, people realized they could get some people, with these little bitty scams.
I'm not gonna be. It is Texas. I'll just say that Texas is a big state.
Yeah.
Everybody don't got the working TV going or internet. I'm serious. It's a big state.
Everybody hear it and they're just like, oh, this is.
Everybody don't have all. It's pretty spread out. But this company was called Forex, EA, and Bitcoin Investment. Basically, they were trying to merge Forex and Bitcoin and crypto, which is actually happening a lot too under the radar, people. I think we'll see more of that here in the next year or two, because the reason why this is happening because the NFA National Futures Association, I believe, they're saying they're the ones who work with Forex. They're basically saying you can do things with crypto as far as trade it. You just can't hold it on behalf of the customer, which again goes against the SEC and the CFTC. But the NFA has their own governing body, whatever. So they're trying to actually make it acceptable. So you'll see more of this. You'll see more Forex and crypto investment. It might be legitimate, it might be illegitimate, but you'll start seeing more of that pop up as well.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's bigger in Texas.
There it
especially
is.
The scams.
All right, for the free Bitcoin today, what are we doing?
Oh, yeah. So for the free Bitcoin today, going along with the Belarus ICO, where you have to have a certain educational requirement. Also with China having a social score now. Do you think these things will relate to crypto? And if they do, how will the U.S. implement it? Will it be regulations? Will it be a chip in the arm? Will it be some other arbitrary way to track your crypto or to track you as a person? Let us know what you think. If we already are tracked completely, let us know. Put your public address and we'll send that free Bitcoin.
Carlos rolled in. Is this the real Carlos? That's the question.
That can't be.
If this is the real Carlos, shout out to Carlos. Hey, be connect.
Be connect.
There we go. I mean, people, fight back. You have to. You have to. Let me know if you need me to lead the way. Give me 10,000 people. I'll show you. No, all right. Other than that, thanks for watching the show. We will be back tomorrow, same time at 10-ish. You got any other things?
That's all for me.
All right. Cheers, people. Look forward to those answers.
Have a good one.